changes. Never has. He never will. Man has a problem with that because man has changed a lot and often and in not a very positive way. Now we have a problem. Hi, this is Barry Phillips, a 10-minute Torah, day number 1 of the Torah portion, Noach, the name Noach meaning comfort. This Torah portion begins in Bereshit, or Genesis, chapter number 6 and verse number 8, but we're going to back up to verse number 5, get a little bit of a running start to understand what verse number 8 has to say. And Yahweh saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Pay attention to that. Yahweh was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. And Yahweh said, I am going to wipe off man whom I have created from the face of the ground, both man and beast, creeping creature and birds of the heavens, for I am sorry that I have made them. And then verse number 8 is the rescue of this thought. But Noach, the one whose name means comfort, found favor or comfort or hope or grace or favor in the eyes of Yahweh. Man has long had a problem. Yah doesn't change. Man evolves, eating more and more often from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And when he doesn't choke on the seeds, he estimates himself to become increasingly wise. The problem is that when man begins to pursue his own source of wisdom and walk in his own supposed intelligence, he begins to ruin his mind, he ruins his understanding, and he ruins his relationship with his Creator. In my teen years, a long, long time ago, decades, several and decades and more ago, it was popular among some that I knew to put chemicals in a brown bag, put it up over your nose, and begin to breathe it to get a supposed high. I can't imagine they got anything much more than a headache. Glue and lighter fluid and those kind of things are not necessarily meant to go into your body, not even through your nasal passages. And then it was understood that's not a good idea because you're burning up brain cells that you don't get back. That may be a problem for some of those that are still around these days. Sin does the same thing. Sin pollutes the mind. It degrades your understanding to the place where, as we read in verse number 5, that the inclinations and of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. The way I personally translate and interpret that is that man had become incapable of righteous thought. He had burned his righteous brain cells. When we begin to look at Romans chapter number 1, verse number 18 says, For the wrath of Elohim is revealed from heaven against all wickedness and unrighteousness of men who suppress the truth and unrighteousness, those that have given themselves over to wicked imaginations. And in these days, that's not just delving into some kind of mysterious sorcery or dark arts. All you have to do is follow current societal trends, follow the current flavors of entertainment, just fitting in with normal, quote-unquote, society can burn righteous brain cells. As we continue to read through this chapter, you will find that they knew who Elohim is, they knew who Elohim was, but they chose to try to change Elohim to fit better their worldview, their preferred model. And it says, therefore, in verse 24, Elohim gave them up to the uncleanness of the lust of their hearts to disrespect their bodies among themselves. They changed the truth of Elohim into the falsehood and worshipped and served what was created rather than the Creator. So it begins to go downhill from there. God gives them over to degrading passions. They began to receive sin and disease in their bodies. Their minds are polluted. They lose right understanding. Such was the world that Noach lived in. And as it was in the days of Noach, so it is now in our day. People have lost their right minds. And that's extremely obvious. It doesn't take very much looking around to discern that that's true. In Noach's day, he stood increasingly alone and in great contrast to everything and everyone around him. Now, what's interesting is that his grandfather, Methuselah, and then his father, Lamech, they must have discerned and known that judgment was impending because of the degrading and the falling apart of society. And so they prophesied when Noach was brought into this world that this is the one who will bring comfort. Now, I don't know that they could have imagined the process and the means by which he would do so. So they named him Noach. What's interesting here is that Noach is a nun and a chet. The reverse of that, chet, nun, is chen, and it is the word that we translate grace. There is also an interesting phenomenon that takes place when you view something. The way that your eye is situated and the way it functions is that it sees it in the reverse, but the brain corrects it to where we see it rightly, to where we understand it, we receive it correctly. So, in Yah's eyes, perhaps Noach, a chen, of grace and favor, are the two sides of the same thing. This is the man who will bring comfort to mankind through his obedience, but because of his obedience, he's going to receive personally the grace of Yah. There's a lesson for us. What do we do? How do we live? What's going to happen? How is this all going to turn out? I can't answer those questions. I don't know how much longer we're going to have to endure what's currently trending. I don't understand exactly what may be taking place in weeks, months, and even years ahead. We pray, we seek the Father's face on these things, but the important thing is that whatever is happening, you and I stand in stark contrast to those that have lost their minds, that we keep right understanding, that we receive the very grace and favor of Yah to think right. Yah is looking to raise up, I believe, a people who have the capacity to think right. That is, that their minds are that of the Spirit. They're focused on the things that are spiritual more than the things that are fleshly. I've issued this warning and encouragement before, and let me do it one more time. Either limit or totally cut out, if you choose how you do this, what you're receiving from outside media. It doesn't take much to understand that even if you are choosing a very conservative model of news media, it's focused completely on the current cycle of events over and over and over again that will drain you. You may agree, you may disagree, but it will drain you. Social media, it has the ability to encourage you with memes that are uplifting and inspirational, but there are also so much drama and so much stuff. It will drain you. Believe it or not, it comes down to something as basic as this: the book and prayer and seeking the face of the Father to retain a right spiritual mind so that we do not lose our mind, and that we might also recognize the favor and the keeping of our Yah in a very evil day. We'll build on this tomorrow, and until then, shalom.